This is episode 97. So, in today's episode, I wanted to discuss an article that I read on Search Engine Journal of Google explaining what to expect when Core Web Vitals becomes a ranking signal. So, some pretty interesting information that I wanted to share with you today. So, with that said, let's get started. Welcome to the Calm Marketer Podcast. My name is Kenneth Fong, a digital marketer on a mission to help businesses thrive. I'll bring you on my marketing journey where you'll get to learn from my experiences as an INFP navigating an extroverted world and get actionable marketing tips for your business. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let's begin. So when reading a Search Engine Journal this morning, I came across this article that was published on February 28th. And this article was all about what happened during a recent Search Central Live fireside chat hosted by Danny Sullivan. And they were talking about Core Web Vitals and what publishers, what SEOs, what websites should be expecting when the algorithm drops in spring of this year in May. So I know for me, it's been pretty nerve-wracking just considering how much buzz it has generated online and how important it is to make sure that websites are functioning the way Google wants them to function. Sometimes it can be hard to update a website if you don't know exactly what Google is looking for and what they consider to qualify to meet all the core web vitals, because there's so many different things that you can update on a website that it does get pretty overwhelming, right? So I've been thinking about it a lot on, what is going to happen when sites don't meet the expectations and meet the core web vitals, criteria. And Danny Sullivan kind of explained, on Twitter, and he said, on Twitter, consider when mobile friendliness began, plenty of pages still needed to become that way. So while it was a factor, using it more heavily as a factor initially doesn't make much sense, but over time, it might become more valuable. All right. And then he goes on to say, while page experience is important, Google still seeks to rank pages with the best information overall, even if the page experience is subpar. Great page experience doesn't override having great page content. However, in some cases where there are many pages that may be similar in relevance, page experience can be much more important for visibility in search. So, Core Web Vitals is one of the 200 plus ranking factors that will come into play. And this kind of gives me a sigh of relief. I did get a sigh of relief considering that this will not have like a significant impact once it does launch. It's just going to be added into one of the hundreds of other signals that Google takes into account. So page experience is getting more important, right, with Core Web Vitals, but at the same time, page content still is most important. So what's the takeaway? Content is still the most important thing when you are focusing on SEO, right? So make sure your content is accessible to your users, make sure it is optimized, make sure it focuses on what the user is looking for, and you should be good, right? So Core Web Vitals is important, but it won't be as important when it first launches. It will, according to Danny Sullivan, might become more of a heavier signal as sites kind of follow the Core Web Vitals criteria. But in the beginning, it shouldn't take any websites have like a huge negative impact. And that's good to know, because I can tell you that it is very hard to optimize for core web vitals. And it's just one of the many signals that Google takes into account. So if you are trying to work on this, just understand that this will not make or break your rankings. It might improve it, but it will not completely break your ranking. So that's something to keep in mind. But remember to focus on content. It appears that content is still the number one thing, and user experience it falls lower down the ladder. All right. So with that said, if you have any questions, if you want to connect with me, go to bit.ly/the calm marketer. That's bit.ly/the calm marketer. And you can send me a video message, an audio message, or a text message. Ask me any SEO questions that you want. If you need my SEO expertise in your company, let me know. If you want to collaborate, let me know. With that said, I will speak to you on the next episode.